Namaste people, I am Anmol Sarkar. So if you guys have seen my last video, you guys must have an idea about who I am and what I am trying to do and what this channel is all about. So without wasting any further time, let's get straight down to today's topic. And today's topic will be Nazis and after, where we will see that. And if you have watched my last video, you must have noted that how I talked about the Chamberlain Aryan nexus, Aryan Christian nexus, where Chamberlain took the Gobineau's principle and propagated it further. And this Hitler, Adolf Hitler, the famous German Nazi, he was influenced by this idea of Chamberlain. So we will get into that, and we will also see in the later part of this video that how they blamed Indian civilization for all these things. So without wasting any further time, let's get straight down to this today's topic. So first is we will see that how the Chamberlain ideology went into the 19th century. Okay, now when the Chamberlain projected this Aryan Christian nexus, where he quoted Mahabharata and said that Christianity was destined to rule the world with Jews and whatever the other Europeans, what happened is such theories continued to develop further throughout the 19th century and the earlier 20th century, and were very influential in the political and intellectual fringe movements around the 1900s. Okay, means the entire 19th to 20th century, this Chamberlain's and Gobineau's identity politics or the racist ideas were very influential and very highly read. Okay, all this influenced Hitler. Now to understand that, we will understand who this Hitler as a person was, what drove him and what influenced him. Basically, I am not trying to justify his actions or anything, but I am just trying to show his real personality, that how he was forged into what he is known as today. Okay, Hitler in his young childhood was a very brilliant and intelligent student. He was a brilliant artist and a painter also. So what happened is, he always wanted acknowledgement. Now understand this man's, Hitler's psyche. He always wanted acknowledgement for his work. He thought that he never got what he deserved actually. Whenever he went to show his paintings to various universities or professors, he would get rejected. I don't know what was the reason, but he would get rejected. So this, every time the rejection he faced every time instilled a very deep inferiority complex within him. Okay, so he started to have an identity crisis, where he wanted to actually satisfy his identity needs. He knew that he was intelligent and a brilliant artist and a painter, but he wanted to to show that he is such intelligent and all. So this made the very foundation of what he is today. Then afterwards, when he started growing up, he started reading all these Gobineau's racist ideas plus Chamberlain's Aryan Christian nexus. Now this gave him the very food this planted the seeds of planted the seeds which filled the identity vacuum. Okay, now he thought that he was so superior, that he was a part of this Aryan theory, and since the other people did not acknowledge his potential, so he thought that he was superior, and he wanted to show the world that he was superior. And the path he took was completely inhumane and fascist part, but let's not get into that. So what he did is, he started reading the journal which was written by Lance Liebenfels, okay, Lance Liebenfels, who started a journal called Ostara, in which he developed this racist theory about dark skinned Chandalas. If you want to know who is a Chandala, you have to go into the Indian history. Chandala were those people who used to, means what we say, cremate all the dead bodies. For example, in our Hindu traditions, we have this ritual of cremation after death, cremation of bodies after death. So those who cremated these bodies and those who earned money out of it were known as Chandalas at that point in time, and they were very dark skinned. Any Indian would relate to this term called Chandala. So what he did was he propagated the dark skinned Chandalas and blonde Aryans. Okay, he used these Chandalas as a reference and propagated this Aryan theory that native Indians are Chandalas and all, they do inauspicious works, and also that made a very foundation of discrimination on the basis of race. In 1908, he wrote 2 issues in the journal which were dedicated to Manusmriti. Manusmriti is a religious text in the Indian culture. So he wrote 2 journals which were dedicated to Manusmriti and race cultivation among the ancient Indo-Aryans. Okay, Adolf Hitler was a regular reader of this journal, which propagated these Chandala racist ideas and the distortion of Manusmriti. Okay, numerous such works ended up serving as the veritable textbooks of the Third Reich. Now, there was a famous, again, Indologist known as Halbas. He explained that India is invoked in order to articulate and justify ideas and programs of unparalleled arrogance and destruction. So he actually said that India is invoked from this racism and thing, which he used to justify his unparalleled arrogance, which is superior, I am superior and nobody is equal to me. So he used this as the justification. Now, when the racist idea from Germany entered fascist Italy, means the Mussolini time, they got further complicated. Kate Cohen explains the Jewish conditions in the fascist Italy. Okay, now I will quote a passage. He said that the word Aryan or Aryan had taken on equally bizarre meaning when applied to fascist Italy. A swarthy Southern Catholic was an Aryan, whereas blonde and the blue-eyed Milanese Jews was not. Okay, again, a swarthy Southern Catholic was Aryan, and whereas the blonde and blue-eyed Milanese Jews were not. Fascist words certainly pushed the ridiculous to the limit. One could become an Aryan, which seemed to be biologically impossible. Of mixed marriages which had been baptized by a certain time who were Aryan, officially Aryan, by trying to be Aryan and or discriminated had a price. The idea of Italian race, already laughable, was rendered more absurd by the possibility of being Aryanized. Please listen to my words carefully. All one had to do was to prove that one's father was not Jewish but Aryan, and one did that by claiming that one was born as a result of one's mother's adultery. Read this last line. All one had to do was to prove that one's father was not Jewish but Aryan, and one did by claiming that one was born as a result of one's mother's adultery. Now, do you see how vulgar these ideas took form and were used to discriminate the Jews, especially the Jewish women? No, I don't want to get into those things. Actually, I don't feel very uncomfortable in that. Now let's go further. A professor, Giulio Cogni, an Italian professor, was highly instrumental in bringing Nazi Aryans to Italy. Though he later fell out in favor of Mussolini, he was influential in shaping the thoughts of that fascist dictator known as Mussolini. He claimed that a Jew loved Christ, he would be ipso facto outside Judaism. Now he is trying to decouple Judaism from Christianity. He would be transfigured, in his veins would begin to flow the Aryan blood. The concept of Jew was essentially that of the Catholic Church. Now when he started to discriminating Jews against the Christians, he said that Jews originated from this Catholic Church. The opposite was true. Okay. Now after the Second World War, revulsion or the Holocaust against revulsion against Hitler and the Holocaust, that this race theory was brought to end in European mainstream, and special efforts were made to remove the notion of Aryan race not just from academic vocabulary but from public psyche also. Okay, after World War II Holocaust, when people stood against Hitler, special efforts were made. Now how will they remove? Now they had to, when they failed in their distortions, this was bound to happen. When they took the Indian civilizational values and distorted it, the failure was inevitable. Now to justify their failure, now they had, now what the leftists will do, the leftists will do what they do best, blame it on others. Now they similarly blamed, to justify their failure, they blamed it on the Indian civilization. They took it from Indian civilization, and when this failed distortion, they blamed it on the Indian civilization, that Indian civilization promotes such values. Please don't believe this. Indian civilization did not promote such values. Now the second part is that only blaming the Indian civilization. Despite the fact that the European scholarship, which had misappropriated, distorted and abused Indian traditions for the benefits of European identity politics, there is still a tendency among today's certain Western scholars to blame India for the European racism and Nazism at India's door. A famous Sanskrit professor, which goes by who graduated from the University of Columbia, his name is Sheldon Pollock. Remember the name. He is alive today also, and he is one of the leading figures who is responsible for converting Indian Sanskrit text into English, and this guy is funded by the Tata Group. So please, those who are working for Tata, please make sure that this thing reaches your CEO, and that guy Sheldon Pollock is being thrown out of this post because when he translates Sanskrit, he will definitely distort the Indian history again, and that will further promote hatred against India. Now this guy Sheldon Pollock is currently the director of the Tata is creating a library, and he is director of translating all the Sanskrit text into English. Okay, so just remember this guy Sheldon Pollock. So it is my humble request to Tata Group, so please don't fall for this guy. He might be a scholar in Sanskrit, but there are many such scholars who promote various views, but please don't put this guy in a very influential position which will play with our history and the future generations. Please, it is my humble request. So this guy Sheldon Pollock, who was a professor in Sanskrit, promotes his view that high Brahminism, as represented by the Mimamsa school, contributed to ideological formations in pre-colonial India, and Nazism tried implementing at this home in Germany, which is false. Pollock argues that it was this that ultimately led to the legitimation of genocide. So he is trying to blame the Indian civilization for the distortion of history which was taken place. Okay, now in 2010, Pollock was honored by the government of India with the Padma Shri award. Now look how the rot is deep within the India and the opposition parties and all the anti-Indian excess. In 2010, Sheldon Pollock was honored by the Congress government with the Padma Shri award. Why? For promoting anti-India views and distorting the history. William Halfbass takes Pollock's thesis to fabricate far-reaching speculations. Okay, that is, now we can see that the implication of this Western Indologists continuing to use the idea of Aryan and Arya in Indian context with references to the Aryan invasions and so forth. As will be shown subsequent chapters, European racial identity conveniently made their way into India, where they referred to the light-skinned term, means the fair-skinned people as Aryans and the dark-skinned people as Dravidians. These distinctions were first promoted in the colonial times but remain powerful to this day in various studies of India. All these premier institutions, JNU, AMU, minorities in St. Stephen's College, all this history part, this kind of racist idea is still being taught in India, where they blame the Indian civilization for this caste system, the Aryan racism theory. Okay, now remember this guy Sheldon Pollock is a very important person in this anti-India cabal. So it is my request to Tata Group again to please not subscribe to any person like these who will distort our Indian history any further. So thank you for watching this guys video. Thank you for watching this video guys. Have a nice day.